Richard, it's great to have you on the show again. I know you talked with my colleague Bob Silverman before, but numerous events have transpired. You were a former senior Foreign Service officer serving quite a lot in Latin America and South America. What is going on in Argentina right now? Why does Donald Trump promising to extend a $20 billion loan to the country?
Well, first, let me thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here on TV, Abraham. It's a real pleasure. What's going on in Argentina, I think, is an effort to support a government that is both friendly to the United States and is engaging in a quite complicated effort at structural reform. Will it be successful is very much up in the air. Personally, I think the decision to support Argentina was worth making. Argentina has a long and painful history in terms of its financial management. It was once one of the more wealthy countries in the world. If you go to Buenos Aires, it's a grand city that can hold its own with Barcelona or Milan or any other Western European city. But really, for close to a century, Argentina has had intermittent phases of success, but really a long-term downward trajectory. There have been efforts to turn it around, not successfully so far, but Milei, who's got his limits and his faults, and we can talk about them, but he is making a very serious effort to try and right the course for Argentina. It's a big structural reform effort. He came into power because the old way had literally collapsed. Argentina was drifting towards hyperinflation, 200%, 300%. He's taken some very tough steps to cut back spending. They're quite painful. Unemployment has naturally been an issue. There have been some green shoots of recovery that he has certainly tried to make the most of politically, but still it's a tough situation. He tripped up recently in a provincial election that he had hopes to do really well in, and he did not. And that created a kind of panic scenario in which people were saying, no, the reform effort is dead. Milei is doomed. There was a run on the peso. So he's looking for help. Now, you can argue on one side, Argentina has been down this route before, and it's throwing good money after bad. And
that's what I was wondering. I mean, is it 20 billion that were essentially the equivalent of dumping it in the ocean?
Well, there was the famous statement, I think it was Senator Everett Dirksen many years ago, who said, $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. 20 billion is a significant amount. I would note we did a bailout for Mexico in 1994-95 that was 70 billion, and probably that's more like 100 billion in today's dollars. And it got all paid back eventually, and it proved to be an important success in stabilizing Mexico. Is Argentina as important to the United States as Mexico? Probably not. But still, it is a significant country, especially in the Latin American context. And Milei has got the rest of his term, 2 more years to go. If he can get over the hump, it would be a very good thing for Latin America and I think also for the United States. But there are no guarantees. His political skills probably could use some sharpening.
What's going to happen in the October 26th elections?
As the other saying goes, predictions are very difficult, especially those about the future. Certainly the recent provincial election where he did badly got them scared, gotten Argentines scared. But it could be that this sign of support from the United States is helpful to him at the election. We'll find out.
Or does it actually backfire?
Argentines, at some level, they want success. They really do. But there's been a lot of pain. And the real problem is these kinds of major structural adjustment efforts do not bear fruit quickly. If you look the ones that have been successful. Chile, of course, there was a military government that could do what it wanted and make people wait. And they had to wait, but there were good outcomes. But it took a decade, I would say, before they were really seen. Margaret Thatcher in Britain, she had the benefit of having a solid majority for her Conservative Party in the Parliament, and was able to do what she felt she needed to, and she got reelected. I know you're familiar with the post-communist countries of Central Europe, which went through probably even a more grinding structural adjustment than Argentina is facing. But again, it took time, and the open question is, are the Argentine people willing to give him more time? Certainly another 2 years as president, a second term. Trump has spoken about wanting him to be reelected. That's up to the Argentines, of course.
Now, Milei himself, president of Argentina, is either portrayed in the United States as a heroic, enterprising figure, a captain of the libertarian doctrine, or by his detractors as a complete nut job. What's your assessment?
All of the above. He is a unique figure. He is an anti-politician. He's an economist. He was a media commentator, hardcore libertarian. He never changed his views. The country came to him essentially in desperation. The question for him, though, is hot rhetoric enough? He came in, I think, probably to his own surprise at how well he did. And the lesson he learned, however, was that he really didn't need to make a lot of compromises, because at the beginning he was given some important extraordinary powers and was able to do a lot of his budgetary slicing and dicing without too much objection from Congress. The opposition was stunned by their defeat, the Peronists. So he had a lot of space. But that space eventually closes, and he's going to have to do real politics in the future. He's got to come up with a coalition. The elements are there. There's other conservative parties, the so-called pro-Republican proposal of President Macri, who made his own effort at reform less successfully some time ago. There are dissident Peronists. There are centrist parties. But that requires real political skills. And Milei, he may have them, but until now, he's really felt he could do it, my way or the highway, and I don't think that's going to work anymore.